Welcome to the Knighthood Podcast, a comprehensive weekly analysis of the Newcastle Knights 2024 NRL season, brought to you by Michael and James. So fire up and let's go. Hey James, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. It's been a bit of a strange one considering we had the bye, but I was just in that routine of doing it every week, and then today came along, and I was like, oh shit, I got to get things ready, and but yeah, I'm ready to roll. I got the new merch that you sent me. I'm really happy with that. That turned out great.
Good to see you, mate. Well, we've both got the hats on there, and you're rocking the shirt as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, love it.
It's got the back strap on there as well. Fire up for everyone who can't see it.
Yep. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, well, there we go. We're looking a bit more professional week on week, so that's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it come up pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the printing, so that's been good. How have you been, mate? How was the bye round?
Yeah, it was. I just took it easy, and as usual, just
had some
doing
beers.
all the work.
I think I saw you on Facebook. Had a couple of beer o'clock.
Yeah. Had some beers. But
played
mainly
the guitar
work.
Playing
guitar.
Apps. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's been mainly work and watching a lot of footy as well. Enjoyed watching the footy and yeah.
I was crook as a dog since Friday last week, and yes, Sydney is under siege by this new flu, whatever it is. So it's God, I've been sick, and today I'd just starting to feel a little bit better. So yeah, just made it in time.
No worries. We'll have
you don't want to catch this new flu. It's I had a terrible fever. Everyone gets different symptoms and stuff, but yeah, it was pretty crappy. And it's when we get to our main segment tonight. I don't know if you can see that's not so great, is it? The MB tongue scraper. We're going to talk about that because without that thing, my tongue would have been looking pretty disgusting. God, there was so much crap in my mouth. Yeah. Anyway. So, I've had a rough 5 days, and that probably took a bit of enjoyment out of my bye round. But the one thing that I did get to do is lay in bed and watch footy, which was, to be honest, it was a bit boring. But some of the games were good and some were not so good. But yeah, it was I really enjoyed just really focusing on our team this year, and as each week comes up, we see the opposition, and I've kept an eye on the other like games and results and the ladder and stuff like that, but I haven't got too in depth with the other sides, because we do it week by week. By the end of the year, we'll know all the teams pretty well. And even this week we're coming up against the Bulldogs, so we've already played them once. But yeah, I've enjoyed the kind of blinkers on approach this year, and not so much, getting into the other games. So that's definitely the most footy I've watched. And I'm going to appreciate a Knights match this week and getting the blinkers back on. Felt a bit lost.
Yeah. It was strange. It was a strange week, not, having this to do, but also not watching the Knights and being so engrossed in it. But yeah, bring on this Friday. I'm keen. Yeah,
I'm keen too. I remember going out to a core and I had a really good day out there, but it was a shit result, and that's when Ponga went down, and we had a couple of bets go down on that day, and I think that's actually the last day we've lost the bet since then, and I really knew I had to pick my act up after there was a couple of losses there that I wasn't expecting, and that was our worst performance of the year. So we'll get into our preview soon after we go through the full show. But I'm fired up. I want to. If I was the boys this week, I would have had this one penciled in on the calendar, coming off a bye, and the way that they performed last time. You definitely want to play well at home and aim that game up.
Yep.
Level it out. Rightio. Let's get the slides up. So just bear with me for a sec. Make us a little bit bigger. Rightio. So, okay, let's get back into the swing of things. Knighthood Podcast, Newcastle Knights, Round 11 review and Round 13 preview of the 2024 NRL season. Rightio. tonight we're going to run through the round 11 review, and we're also going to then go over our 3-2-1 update for the Knighthood Player of the Year. Have a look at the normal NRL ladder tonight. I've taken out the adjusted ladder. There's been we've had 12 rounds and we've got a bye now, so I thought we'd just have a look at the normal ladder this week. We might go back to the adjusted one next week. Pardon me if I cough a little bit. I'm still not 100% tonight. Pardon me. So we'll then have a look at the run home. It's a segment we've got in here, and we'll focus on that now for the rest of the season. We've had 11 matches. We played 24 this year, so this is actually going to get us up to halfway through the season. I don't know if that quick swig on this. The dreaded flu season.
You'll get through it. It's all good.
I will. Okay, so then after we get through the first segment tonight, we'll get into the next half of the show, run through the full round 13 preview, have a look at our injuries and suspensions, our teams list review, run over our final analysis, and look at our betting tally for the year, and then go over our final tip. So I'm going to move on, and I'm going to let you talk for a sec, James, because I'm struggling.
No, you're all good.
I should mute the microphone.
All right. So we've got the result there from round 11, where the Knights defeated the Titans in I was really worried about this game. I thought it was a huge danger game for the Knights, and they started off really well. They 2 quick tries at David Armstrong. Then the Titans came back out and really put it on them again. But thankfully, the Knights got the chocolates. But it was
the chocolates.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster of a game. Absolutely.
Jeez, wasn't it? It's everyone's head's kind of in Origin land at the moment, and I don't normally like this time of the year. Look, we're both Blues, and we don't mind watching the Blues win. But I'm not a fan of this stage of the season. I think it kind of hijacks the NRL season, and it takes too much emphasis away from our competition. And things get a bit weird here for the next 6 weeks. What are your thoughts on that? Did you, from a following your team perspective, and wanting to, do you feel like in the past, like this time of year is hard to kind of get into it? Like you've got lots of buys, you've got Origin players in or out, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and it can totally make or break. It can totally break a team's momentum at this time of year if they're going well, and if you're a team that's losing a lot of Origin players. So it is disruptive, no matter no doubt about it. I mean, from my perspective, I like the tradition of Origin. It's always been that way, but I think it just depends on your team and how much it's going to disrupt them with rep players and whatnot. I don't think we're too affected this year, are we? Really? But
we haven't had one player selected in.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, and I think prior to his injury, that Bradman Best might have been the only one, or being looked at.
Pongo would have been there, Best most likely would have been there. But I mean, looking at who they've picked, I'm not 100% certain that Best would have been there anyway.
Yeah, I think they probably would have went. I mean, Sawali's been playing great.
Sawali.
Yeah. But I don't know. Obviously I'm an Origin, Blues supporter, but I can see your point. It does ruin the momentum, and it can be catastrophic for certain teams. If they're losing so many gun players, and they've got to find a way of getting through that period.
Yeah, and just from our point of view, it's just as a fan, it's what we're going to try and do here on the Knighthood podcast through this period is manage this and keep really focused on our team. And basically, we're not going to talk about Origin teams so much. And, hopefully the Blues get up next week and good luck to them. We'll be cheering them on. But Everything about the Knighthood podcast is on the performance of this team. So we're not going to get lost in all the Origin hype. We're going to be focused on Newcastle Knights 100% performance of this team throughout this season. This is a critical stage of the season. And, with all this noise on the outside, we're going to burrow down and really stay focused on our club and our team and our performance and our betting performance. That's what we're all about, which is a bit of a different vibe, I guess, compared to other podcasts and stuff going around. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this period, and we'll keep our blinkers back on. Yep. So, yeah, look, overall, the Titans match, we got up by 4 points, and you've already touched on a couple of these points. Is there anything you wanted to just emphasize? Like, we won't spend too much time on the review now. Like I said, everyone's heads in Origin. This game was 2 weeks ago now. It was a great game. It was a great win at the end. And there's definitely some key points that we need to bring up because I think they're actually turning points in the season, some of the critical moments. But did you want to run over those in detail, or is there anything there that you want to?
Nah, the only thing I'll add was that what I feared in lead up to the game was that the Titans would be able to score quite a few points, and they did that. And I was more concerned about if we could counteract that and score points ourselves, and we did. So that was a learning curve for not only our team, but also it gave me a bit of confidence that we can score points. So that's probably the only thing I'd like to say.
This is the thing that I think was critical. We at halftime, we'll get to the betting segment later, but I might as well bring it up now because it's relevant. I mean, at the end of the day, as I've mentioned, we are focused on profit, performance and profit. So performance of the club, the team, and profit from a betting point of view. So it doesn't necessarily always, it definitely doesn't mean we never back on emotion. If we're trying to make a quid and trying to make a consistent profit, and at this stage we're at 25% return on investment for the year. So we're doing something right, and it's been a pretty hard season for a lot of tipsters in betting. So we're doing well, tracking above the market. Yeah, look, I actually put a live bet against the Knights at halftime because the thing that we identified in our preview was that if the Knights got behind and we questioned, are they going to be able to chase points? Now, back off unanswered 24 points from the Titans, and we looked terrible in defense. And we also lost Bradman Best at halftime. On the back of that news, I just, emotionally, the last thing I want to do is back against the Knights. And I didn't have a bet at that stage. I was looking at opportunities either way. I'm always going to be very apprehensive to bet against the Knights, but if I see an opportunity, I'm going to take it sometimes. So I actually did put a live bet against the Knights, and it was for all those reasons. It was just based off the logic, all the process and everything we went through. And look, they were in a position they probably should have lost from where they were. And what they did is they actually answered some questions that we doubted. And that Lucas break and Armstrong scored that change. I think that'll change our season. It was huge to be able to come back. They're 14 points down. And
it was 24-10 at halftime, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was huge. I couldn't see it coming. From the history and so far what we've seen from the side and the way the game was trending. So I saw Phoenix Crossland come up and he started smashing blokes, getting the line speed and just all these little effort plays. They just come from nowhere. So they really aimed up, and it was all based off effort, and it was all the win was earned on merit. And I just think that's a really awesome way to end 11 matches in a row. To pull that win out of the hat in that fashion was awesome. And as I saw that momentum turn, and I saw these Newcastle, you know, these little Newcastle plays like with the, the real culture and the fight hard, work ethic.
The
I
grit,
started
the
seeing that,
spirit.
and then we got the spirit was there, and we started getting the points, and then I'm looking at the other way because then the odds were changing, and then I basically, I think I took the Knights minus 1.5 at even money to break even on the day, and that ended up being a good decision because we scored that off the penalty try, and then we won. So it was a risky. It wasn't great. I don't. Live betting is it's a hard thing to master, and it's just one of those things. It's fun, but it's very draining as well. So anyway, I got out of jail, and the Knights, prove that they're a really good gritty team. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said earlier. I learned.
I'm trying not to die over here.
No, you're right, mate. Yeah, like it answered a few questions that we also brought up. Could they score points? Could they dig themselves out of a hole? And they were in a dead set absolute hole. They looked horrible at halftime after a good start. Yeah. I think I messaged you because I followed it. I didn't watch it live because I was at work.
I was so into the game, and I couldn't I didn't see your messages until after because I was just so into it.
Yeah.
And that when you're live betting, you've got to that's how you got to be. And I think that's how I was able to turn it around. But yeah, anyway, carry on.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. I was really surprised, but also just the grittiness and how quickly they fell back into that. How they strangled teams previously. Once they got into that routine, bam, the Titans were coming out of their end and they were really struggling, and we looked, like a complete different team. So that was really promising to see.
It was good. I think there's one point I would say is that I think the Titans dropped off, and I think they got tired. So against a better side, I'm not so sure we would have done that on the day. But moving forward, after getting that experience and showing the grit and getting the runs on the board now, maybe, like I said, that could be a foundational game for the rest of the year, something to build on.
Yep.
Right, let's run through. Is there anything else you want to run over this game, or should we just move on?
I'm fine, mate. I've said what I wanted to say regarding that game.
Nothing else jumped out.
That's it.
Okay.
Nah.
All right. So what were your 3-2-1s?
Yeah, so 3 points. I went for David Armstrong. He's really, really impressing. He, backing up through the middle, scoring 3 tries, and he was just great for a young guy who's only just come into the team. And what I thought we'd lose with Ponga, he's providing a bit of spark and something we need in attack, and he's really pushing up through that middle. So if there's any breaks, and that's what we need. We need that. So I thought he was fantastic. So he gets my 3 points. I pick Jacob Saifidi. I thought it was one of his better games. I thought he was really good. He got my 2 points. There was nothing outstanding, but I thought it was one of his better games, and there was some crucial stuff that he did. He made that. Yeah. So and 1 point to Greg Marzu.
Well, how good was that try that he set up? But it's a Thompson short ball.
Yeah.
Breaks it through, and then that awesome pass. That's very difficult to do. It wasn't like a short pass either. It was probably was it 10 meters? Pretty close to it. On the fly as a front rower,
Well, maybe maybe Bradman needs to learn off him about how to.
Yeah. Well, maybe they nailed it that week because they were training all week draw passing after the week before.
Yeah. It definitely worked.
They might be practicing. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and 1 point, Greg Marzu got my 1 point. I thought he was really strong again, made a crap load of meters, and your turn, mate.
He's You've been giving Marju the 1 point couple. Is that 2 weeks in a row? I think you're a Marju lover.
I'm bringing him up. I know how much you hate him, so nah, joking.
Well, hate's a strong word. Nothing against him personally, but yeah, I'm not a fan of his inconsistency. It's really hard to put your finger on it. There's just it's frustrating because he's got such a high ceiling on his potential, and then yeah, it's just frustrating when he can't jump and catch a ball, or he tackles someone in the air, and he does all these little things that just make like coach killers, basically. But anyway, he ran for 250 meters, right? So that's definitely an asset. I gave 3 points to Armstrong. It's pretty hard not to give him that. I mean, it was a match-winning performance. I gave 2 to Lucas. He just keeps aiming up and getting better. And I thought that that break that he made, basically, I think that turned the game. And then and also the pass, the pass there to yeah, just
it was classy,
just class. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. And Crossland, I think his line speed and some of the hits he was putting on in the second half instigated it as well. So
yeah,
that's why pardon me. That's why I chucked those 2 players in there, and obviously Armstrong was off the back of all that. So that was it. Do you want to run us through the player of the year? Yep.
Yeah, so our player of the year ladder. We've still got Kalen Ponga at 17 points on top. That'll probably change by the end of the year. 15 points, Bradman Best. Just below him on 13 points, we've got KPP, who's having a great season. 9 points, Dane Gagai. We've got a couple of guys on 8 points, Tyson Frizzell, Jacob Saifidi, and the Kettle, Adam Elliott.
The Kettle.
A couple of guys on 7 points, David Armstrong. He's up there. He's only had a few games, and he's raked in the 3 points from us. So he climbs the ladder.
That goes to show you that fullback, it is such an important position, and obviously, if the fullback's playing well, they do score because they're match winners.
Yeah, absolutely. 7 points again, Phoenix Crossland. A couple of guys on 5, Jackson Hastings, Dylan Lucas, and yeah, just a whole heap of guys rounding out the bottom there. I won't go through them all, but hopefully they might rise as well, but we'll see.
What about Jacob Saifidi? Do you think he should have made an Origin team?
He's been good, but he hasn't been overly great this year, I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, has he been better than Payne Haas or who's the other front rower they picked?
Well, you've got Jake Trebojevic.
Trebojevic, he's moved up.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they would have looked at him they've sort of gone with, the guys above him in that team, I'd say they're playing better. But in saying that, they picked Spencer Leniu, and he's had like first 8 games out this year. And
well, this is, I guess this is the point. So, I mean, we won't get into Origin talk too much, but I think Jacob Saifidi's form this year has been pretty good. Pardon me. Let's just have a quick look at the.
He's definitely been solid.
I think he has, and he wasn't really in the discussions in the media too much. But he's a proven performer. Both of the Saifidis have actually performed really well at Origin level.
Yeah,
they've got bodies that are built for it. It's just interesting why Maguire didn't pick him. I'd be interested to know what his thoughts were. But I mean, look, you've even got Mitchell Barnett there, who's an outcast from Newcastle. He's in good form, and good on him because he's not a bad bloke. So you've got Hudson Young, and as you mentioned, Spencer Leniu, and Ulukawatu, but he's a back rower. And then you've got Yo. But the interesting one is Cameron McInnes as well.
Yeah, strange decision to drop Yo to the bench and bring McInnes in. So, yeah.
Do you rate McInnes?
Oh, he's a workhorse, but I mean, he's not. He's just a workhorse. I mean, Yo is such a great. He's really good. You know, he can ball play. I don't think McInnes has got much more playing in him. Yeah, and he's just. I don't know. I think he's a way better player than McInnes. No disrespect to Cameron McInnes, but Madge loves him. I saw an interview yesterday, and Madge just said how much he rated him. So I think it was more of a, I love this guy, I'm going to put him in there.
Yeah. Well, anyway, when it comes down to JSAF, he's been a bit stiffed. I thought, you know, there's a chance that he could have been selected, and that's based off this year's form and based off a history of performing when he was selected. Okay, let's have a look through the NRL ladder after round 12. It's a little bit small, isn't it? But we've got the Sharks out there in the lead in first position. Panthers there in second. If we have a look at this, so the Sharks are on 9 wins. Panthers are on 8. Storm are on 8. And then that rounds out there. Would you say they're the best 3 teams so far?
Sharks, apart, if you take out their smashing they copped against the Panthers, they've been one of the best.
And they
Panthers
got smashed by the Tigers of all teams.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to, yeah. But in saying that, the Storm as well, I don't think they've been up the top, but I don't think they've been ultra convincing the whole season. They've won games pretty close and pulled them out of the fire. We beat them. I'd have, the Sharks take that game out. They've been the most consistent. The Roosters are playing bloody, great. Broncos are not really doing much, I don't think. So compared to last year,
they've had a lot of injuries, but I would have to say at this stage, the Roosters, the Panthers, the Roosters and the Panthers to me are the 2 best teams. And then you'd probably have the Sharks in third. And then what we're interested in here is because if you look at the Knights there, we're in 7th. We're on 6 wins, 5 losses. We're only 1 win off the top 4. So, yeah, that's, we'll have a look in a second. We're, our run home and our next 3 weeks. But this period is critical for us because we're on the verge of a top 4 right now.
Yeah, and then depending on where we end up at the end of the year, that Ponga comes back into the equation.
Well, we have to end up in the top 4. I mean, at the end of the day, go back and watch our season preview. It was a really comprehensive review. And look, James, you tipped us to make the top 4 this year. I was 50-50 on making the top 4, definitely in the 8. And look, just the way the cookies are crumbling, and we'll get to it in a second. Who knows if we win the next 2 out of our 3 next games and then go into another bye, we'll probably be in the top 4.
Yeah, particularly the teams we have to beat. Over the next 3 weeks. Obviously we can beat the Dogs. I think we will beat the Dogs this week. But I think we've got Melbourne in Melbourne and Panthers at home. Tough games, but we can win those.
100%. So look, let's get to the next page. So yeah, we've beaten the Titans, so we give ourselves a tick there. We looked at this last week. So we had the bye. Now we've got the Bulldogs. Now we're $1. We'll get to the odds later, but we are $1.57, I think, to win this game. So we're favourites. We're at home. And we'll get to the full review and the reasons why the Knights are favourites this week pretty soon. But yeah, so if we beat the Bulldogs this week, that's another win. So then we'd go for, what are we now, 6? So we'd go to 7-5. 7 wins, 5 losses. That game against the Storm, that's after an Origin match, I believe. So players would be backing up. But guess what? We don't have any Origin players at this stage.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we don't have any for that one. And I think I'm not 100% sure from memory now because I looked at this a couple of weeks ago and my brain's not 100% functioning tonight. So it's that Panthers match. I think that may be before an Origin match, and then we've got the bye. So should we have a quick look at that? Let me just. I think we should have a quick look at that. I'll check. Because essentially we've got the way the cookies crumbled here. We've got a good run this week. That match there against the Storm. Give me a second. I'm just going to jump back on NRL.com because this is important. Where we end up in this period, I think is going to determine the rest of the year, and whether we make the 8 or whether we make the 4, or we miss out altogether. So okay, so we've got James. Can you get the state of origin draw up in front of you so we know what the dates are? If you've got your phone,
yeah. Just give me a second.
I don't have a luxury of 2 screens. So we've got that Storm matches on the 9th of June.
Yeah, so we've got obviously Sydney on the 5th of June, second game in Melbourne on the 26th.
Well, let's just stay on that one for now. So then we've got the Storm. I'll just have a look. How many Storm players actually have made the Origin team?
Coates, Grant. I'm sure there's some other guys.
Let's have a quick look. Doing a bit of ab libs research tonight, guys. We're normally really organised, but doesn't hurt to do it this way either. So where are we?
That might only be the only 2 that they've got.
Okay, so I've got it now. So it is Coates. And who else have we got? Anyone?
Harry Grant's in there.
Yeah, I'm just going through the 1 to 13. Yeah, so Harry Grant. Okay. And so that's interesting actually. Only 2.
It's pretty low for them.
That's low for Melbourne.
Yeah.
Obviously Munster's out. But when we versed Melbourne before, their full strength rating was actually quite high. I think it was over 80%. And the only players that had out were the 2 halves, Hughes and Munster, and maybe one other player. So we'll probably be walking into a similar situation there, but we don't have any Origin. Like if we don't have any injuries against the Bulldogs, and let's say we give it to them and have a good game, and we're confident. What is it? It's also it's a 10-day turnaround as well. So we're going to be fresh. Okay. And looking at these turnaround days and the way the cookie crumbles when you verse a team, this, in my opinion, when it comes to betting, is the most important thing that anyone should look at, because you need to know if a team's going to turn up on that day and play their best footy. And the way I'm looking at this right now, the Knights are primed for this week against Bulldogs. They're going to be primed, unless they have any major injuries this week, they're going to be absolutely primed and gaining in confidence, probably 5 in a row, going into a Melbourne game where they'll have 2 players backing up from Origin plus Munster out, and we've already beaten them this year off a 10-day turnaround. Okay, so then what's the next date for the next Origin game?
26th of June in Melbourne. Oh, yeah, hang on. Yeah, 26th of June.
26th of June. Okay.
Yeah.
So then that match against the Panthers, then you would say that's would be at full strength. Both sides would be at full strength for that, right? Because
Yeah.
when would they pick for the Origin team for that next one? Did you say it's a 26th, right?
26. So it'd be like a week and a half prior to that. It'd be after the Panthers game, I'd say, wouldn't it?
Let's have a look. Yeah, well, the Panthers game's the 16th of June, so I'm just trying to figure out which is a Sunday.
It'd be that Sunday, I reckon.
So the Origin players will play that game. So both teams there will be at full strength. So look, if you're looking at this, you'd have to say that we'd be expecting to win 2 out of these 3 games before the next bye. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the Dogs. If we can win 2 out of the 3, that'd be a great result.
Well, the way I'm looking at it now with that 10-day turnaround after the Dogs won, and
yeah, I didn't realize that.
I think would be nearly, we probably won't be favourites, but I think we probably should be favourites going into that with our form record this year as well, depending on how we play this week, obviously. And then God, like that would mean we're 6 out of 6 wins in a row going into that Panthers game. So, and look, if we win that and we go in 7 wins in a row into a bye, then I mean, even if we lose against the Panthers, but it's funny how things work out. Well, we lost to the Panthers last year by, what was it, 1 point at home, right? They beat us by a field goal.
Yeah.
Maybe this year we'll get them back. And the Panthers aren't as strong as they were last year, I don't think. And even though they played well against the Sharks, it was, I don't know. I'm not at the Bermuda Triangle down there in Cronulla, and I don't know. The Sharks to me are a hard team to read, and they have been for a long time. So I don't know. Who have the Panthers got this? You'd have to look at who the Panthers have got leading up to that game, see if we've got a good chance of getting them. So let's just have a quick look at what the Panthers got. Because I'm just really interested to know, can we win those 3 games? And it's looking like we can definitely win the Bulldogs game. We're definitely better, a 50-50 chance minimum in the Melbourne one.
We can win them. Absolutely, we can win them. It's it's whether or not the boys fire up, really.
Well, okay, so the Panthers, they play this week, so they play the Dragons. And then leading up to, so they've got 2. Oh, holy, I've overlooked something here. We actually play I didn't realize this. We play the Panthers at home. I thought we played them away. Well, there you go.
No.
I'm going to make a call right now. I think that game will be for us to go 7 wins in a row at home versus the Panthers. And I think we're a good chance of winning that. My instinct tells me maybe that's the way this season's going. It'll have to be built off a good win against the Dogs. But if they do that, God, that'll be a blockbuster.
Oh, that's sellout.
Yeah. So look, that's where it's heading. That's exciting. And the other thing that's in our favor there is that when teams are basically, they've got Origin players and they're playing game. What do you reckon? Like, I always thought that you're going to kind of preserve yourself. You want to be playing Origin. You don't want to get injured in that game. So are the Panthers guys going to be there really? At the moment, we don't have any players in Origin. And I'm not sure how many the Panthers have, but they have more than us. So those players are not going to want to get injured in that game. So are they going to turn up 100%? The way the cookie's crumbling right now is very exciting. I just hope the Knights can see this opportunity in front of them and aim up and take it. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, well, I think it was the last episode where we sort of touched upon this period, and I think we both said if we get 2 out of this period, it'd be great. But like you said, hostile Newcastle crowd at home against the Panthers. If we're coming off the back of 2 victories plus, it's going to be an absolute cracker. And there was no reason the way we're playing and how tough we're playing that we can't beat Melbourne and the Panthers. So.
Yeah, look, what we're doing here is a live deep dive, and a lot of this stuff we do offline, but we're doing it live tonight, and we're breaking it all down the next 3 rounds, and it's fucking exciting. If we can go 7 in a row and beat the Panthers going into a bye, and then guess what? When does Kalen Ponga come back? He won't be too far back from that.
Well, he's been out for 7 weeks now, haven't he?
I think we've kind of touched on. Anyway, let's quickly figure it out. So we lost Ponga against the Bulldogs, right? So this is our last.
And it's a 3-month injury, isn't it? Or recovery.
Well, they were saying 12 weeks. They were saying 12 weeks. So let's have a look. So. Okay, so we lost Ponga in the Bulldogs game. So he's missed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's already 5 weeks in. So he's only got 7 weeks to go. So then he's got he'll miss. Okay, so that's 7. So that's 1, 2, 3. With the bye, he'll only be out for 3 more matches. And if we're 7 from 7, we potentially got him back after another 3 matches. Anyway, it's all
falling into place.
It's quite possible. It's quite possible, and that's what this podcast is about. Is really diving deep into our season as we get balls deep into this year. We want to have a good take on where we're at as a team and where we're heading. And it looks like, everything, the writing's on the wall here. Like there's a massive opportunity for our club and for us to be happy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot more fun doing this when the Knights are winning, that's for sure.
100%. All right. Well, that was good. That was encouraging, especially being after sick for a few days and talking about being sick. We're going to get into a message from our season sponsor, MB Optimal Oral Care. MB Optimal Oral Care are our season sponsor of the Knighthood podcast. They have a range of zero plastic oral care products that are best for you and best for the planet. You can check out their full range of products via Chemist Warehouse online. Find the link in the description. Okay, well, if you've persisted by listening to us tonight, the content's been pretty good, but God, I'm sorry about the cough, and I've mentioned a few times I'm pretty sick. And look, I've been using these MB tongue scrapers for a couple of years now. It's not something that I've done all of my life. I was introduced to it. And I just I was really surprised. Actually, I got a bad flu, and I had a lot of stuff happening with my body, and I was really surprised by how much gunk I had on my tongue. So normally this is the tongue scraper here. It's this one's the MB Edge. It's a dental instrument. Basically, it sells for $23 and it can last you a lifetime. It's an awesome thing. I've got a couple of different ones. I've got this and the copper one. I hang one in the shower, and the other one's at my basin. So I normally just scrape my tongue a couple of times in the morning. It takes like 10, 15 seconds. MB have this thing called scrape before you brush. So you basically just get the gunk off your tongue, and what that does is all the bad bacteria gets off and it refreshes the mouth, and then the good bacteria can do their job. But I just out of interest, like when I got sick, I never really realized this before, but God, there's so much crap on my tongue, and normally like 2 or 3 scrapes, 10 seconds, the stuff's off. But when I was sick, I was like, God, the filth and crap that come off my tongue was, you don't want to talk about it on the podcast. It was disgusting. And as I get a bit better, it's getting less the load. But God, my mouth felt so much cleaner just by doing that, and I'm sure that's contributed to me getting better a little bit quicker than the average person. So yeah, you should definitely consider if you've got if you've got the flu, pay attention to your tongue and the crap that builds up on there, because it does kind of deposit there and makes your mouth feel pretty unclean, and it's not very healthy. So looking after your oral health is very important. It's one of the most important things, if not the most important thing, for your overall health and well-being. So thank you, MB Optimal Oral Care. You've definitely helped me a lot throughout this flu season. And if you want to get an MB tongue scraper today, go to Chemist Warehouse online. The link's in the description below. Right, yeah. You can also search, don't forget, MB. So it's spelled EMBI. So that's MB, EMBIOOC. That's what you search for in Chemist Warehouse. Or you can go on the internet, search and find the website too. Rightio. James, do you want to run us through the round 13 injuries and suspensions list as we get into the second half of the show?
Yeah, so the Knights, we've got the full strength rating of 82%. We've got Bradman Best out, Tyson Gamble out, and also we have Kalen Ponga out. So, Bradman Best, he'd been playing great, but, we've got a good, strong team, I feel.
Yeah, 82% full strength rating. Obviously, they're pretty big outs, Ponga, Gamble, and Best. But overall, the one thing that has gone for us all year is that our full strength rating has been as good, if not better, than the opposition every week. Well, so this week, that should say Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs are at 82% full strength rating. So we're pretty even. And I've taken into account the outs for Origin as well. But because I think Ryan Sutton there, who's on that list, is actually playing this week. He's been named in the starting side.
Okay.
Kickout's out, which is a big out this week. We can talk about that in a bit more detail. So we're pretty much head for head in terms of strength on strength, I'd say, going into this match. Most of the time we've been ahead. So 50-50 this week. Do you want to go through the teams? You got your phone there? You can.
Yeah, I'm getting it ready. I was ready to roll.
All right.
Okay. So for the Knights, we have David Armstrong at fullback. Hopefully he continue his great form. On the wings, we have Anari Tuwala and Greg Marzu. In the centers, we've got Dane Gagai and new inclusion. First time this year, Christian Mapalongi. So that's going to be very interesting to see how he goes.
Let's hope he doesn't get in front of a front row forward off a kickoff again and get absolutely poleaxed.
Hopefully he doesn't.
First tackle of the year.
Yeah.
God.
And the halves. Yeah, he obviously, the coach thinks he's up for it. So, I'm really keen to see how he goes.
He's been around for a while, and it's make or break for Maps right now. He's got to aim up here and show that he's a first grade footballer and he wants to stay at the club. So he's playing for a lot.
We've got Jack Cogger and Jackson Hastings in the halves. And for the Doggies, we've got fullback Connor Tracy. On the wings, we've got Blake Wilson and Josh Adokar, the Fox. In the centers, we've got Bronson Sherry and Jacob Carraz. In the halves, we've got your mate Drew Hutchison and Toby Sexton at halfback.
Yeah. Well,
what are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? I'm seeing blood. That's what my thoughts are. I can remember that match at a core stadium, and I think, I'm hoping the boys are, putting the deep heat on the legs on the Tuesday night, getting ready for this Friday night match. Let's go. Get out there and smash them.
Yeah, and the thing is, they just didn't turn up that day, did they?
They didn't. They
weren't there.
We're in a position here where we can go on a good run, build on this 4-game win streak at home, going into a 10-day turnaround into the Storm, then coming back against the home side match against the Panthers, leading into an Origin game where they won't be 100% focused. Writing's on the wall. They can. The opportunity's there. They're just up to them to write the story now. Just got to play it out. But yeah, look, in terms of the team, the backs, we're strong. Armstrong. So he should go from strength to strength. He's been playing great. And I think Mapsel, I think he'll aim up. As we said, he's got a lot to play for. And hopefully Marju doesn't have an inconsistent game. I'd still like to see Will Price. He has been named on the extended, and I don't think he'll feature in this game. But, Cogger hasn't really aimed up at all this year. And is he ever going to? I mean, the jury's out. I hope so. He's been signed for another 2 years beyond this year. So I think but he was signed as a backup half anyway. He was never signed as a $600,000-$700,000 half. He probably signed a $300,000 contract. Who did he replace? What was his name? The ex-Dragons player.
Oh, yeah, I know. I can picture his face. What's his name?
He went to England. So it's slipped my mind. Yeah. We should know this.
Can't remember his name.
Yeah, but he's flipped off to England. But that's who he replaced on, and his contract was worth about $300,000. So anyway, that name will pop up before we get to the end of the night.
No Matt Burton.
Yeah, that's right. No Burton. Hutchinson. He's not really a true half. But he's managed. He's kept his place in the side, and they're playing pretty well, the Bulldogs. So he must do something positive for the team. Karaz, Zeri, good players, but no Crichton, no Burton. So I'm thinking Knights have a strong edge, but not overly confident with Cogger, and there is question marks on Mapalangi, and Armstrong's still, relatively inexperienced. He's played 3 games. So, what about the forwards?
All right. For the Knights, we have front rowers Jacob Saifidi and Leo Thompson. Jaden Brayley is the hooker. In the second row, we've got KPP and Dylan Lucas. And at lock, we've got Adam Elliott. For the Bulldogs, we've got Max King, front rower, and Sam Hughes as the other front rower. Reid Marnie is the hooker. And in the second row, we've got Jacob Preston and Jamin Salmon with Kurt Mann, ex-Knights player, ex-Knights and Melbourne player at lock.
Good player, Kurt Mann. It was questionable whether we should have let him go. Probably wasn't a bad move. But, yeah, he's a good player. Good luck to him. We look pretty strong in the forwards, don't we?
Yeah, we've got Lucas and KPP with Frizzell to the bench.
He's benched, yep.
Yeah, so
which I like because that's our future. That's a great back row at the moment, the way it's going.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Lucas has got, he's obviously played in the centres in the past, but he looks very classy.
He's at home there.
He's got a step. He's athletic. He can be.
He's
anything.
got heart. Yeah, goes hard. It's good.
Yeah. And, so
these forwards should be fresh, running off the back fence, ready to smash them. And now it comes back to my mind. This Marnie, man, what is that? It's Marnie, right? Reid Marnie.
Reid Marnie and Hetherington firing up in the
biggest pest, right?
Oh,
Marnie.
Yeah. Is he up there with Ennis though, Michael Ennis?
Oh, this is a bit aggressive, but you'd nearly want to get someone to coat hanger this guy, wouldn't you? or at least knock him. At least take. Okay, let's run a hypothetical here. Knights are up 30-0 at half time. Do you just get permission from the coach just to knock him out?
Just go, hey, AOB, do you mind if I sit out for the next 6 weeks? I'm going to take him out.
Just one punch. Just one punch.
Bit of an elbow or something.
Well, yeah.
Actually, no, just give him a really solid trip.
I'm not a trip. Well,
get away with that. Yeah.
You don't even get penalised for tripping these days.
That's what I mean. Hopefully he does his knee or something. Yeah.
That'll be the problem though. If you trip someone and they do their knee, they'll get suspended.
Yeah, true.
Which is ridiculous. What was the trip against the Knights? The game before the last. That was terrible. Anyway,
like Tigers, wasn't it?
Look, yeah. I'm not calling out for it like an eye gouge or a hopper or anything. But yeah, I wouldn't. I think the stiff arms are a bit out of fashion these days. But maybe like a pretty high force shoulder to the head.
Well, I'm sure Hetherington might be able to accommodate him when he gets out there.
Hetherington. Well, that's the thing. He hasn't been named, and we'll see that in a second. He's anyway. Look, you can
that's
see
right.
there,
Yes, he hasn't. He's on the extended bench.
You can see that I'm pretty fired up by this little pest. And if I was at the match, I'd be buying seats right on the tunnel so I could be abusing him when he comes out and
Plenty
goes
of
back
heckling.
All
right.
Yeah, so let's go through the interchange.
Yeah, we've got for the Knights, we've got Phoenix Crossland at 14, Tyson Brazil. Be interesting to see how he goes off the bench. He'll be fine. He's a very professional player. Daniel Saifidi and the man Brodie Jones, the workhorse.
Big bad Brodie Jones.
Yep. And for the Doggies, we've got Bailey Hayward, Josh Curran, Curtis Morin, and Hoasa Farmasili.
Farmasili.
Yeah. Sorry if I got that wrong.
That's all right. We're not paid to get names right. We're paid to get predictions right. So extended.
Yeah, so for the Knights, we've got Thomas Cant, Matt Croker, Will Price, Jack Hetherington's back there, and we've got Fletcher Sharp down there as well. For the Doggies, we've got Leopold Popeye. Is it?
Popeye?
I've never heard of him. Popeye. Sorry, mate. We've got Blake Taff, Jake Turpin, Harry Hayes, and Gerald Skelton. And referee down the bottom is Grant Atkins.
Yeah.
I don't know why I brought him. Sorry, I was reading off this. He's down there. So.
No, you can read the ref. It's all right. We love refs on the Knighthood podcast. Our bench overall looks pretty stable. You've got Frizzell there now. He's going to maybe slide into a bit more of a middle role and can cover back row if needed. And then that's starting to look pretty good, isn't it? Like Frizzell, maybe as he matures a bit, and maybe that's going to be his future for the next couple of years. And it just goes to show you how well those two young back rowers are doing. And what I like that they're forward planning here, because this can really take us forward as a team if this works.
And the good thing about those back rowers is that they're both going to be future, like, how do I put it? Like KPP, once he gets more accustomed to what he's doing, he's going to be more of an attacking threat. We've already seen that with Lucas, but having two back rowers who are really threatening is going to be great.
Yeah. This is not an official tip, but I've got a bit of a hunch that KPP might score a try this week. He's been really close for a number of weeks, and he just gets pulled up short. But maybe against the Bulldogs, and maybe after the bye, they might have been looking at ways to connect a little bit better with him on the edge. So I would not be surprised this week. If it's not a try, it'll be a try assist from offload. Yeah, look, the Bulldogs bench is pretty solid as well. I don't know. I think we've got a definitely strong edge there. Big bad Brodie Jones. He's a very good tackler. Look, I really like our bench. That could that's nearly a lock-in for me as our best bench. And then, I mean, where do you fit Hetherington back into this side? Maybe in place of the Kettle, if the Kettle doesn't aim up. Maybe you'd bring Frizzell in at lock and drop
then
the
he comes
Kettle
onto
and
the
bring
bench.
in, yeah.
But I mean, he seems to be wanting to stick with Adam Elliott. I mean, he hasn't dropped his bundle recently, so
yeah,
hopefully
but
he continues.
he's living up to his name, isn't he? He's he is the Kettle. He is the Kettle, but he has some influence in that team and that culture of the side, and he's one of the leaders there. So yeah, let's get hot this week, Kettle. Want to see the steam, man? Hear the whistle.
You're on fire.
Okay, so I'm probably it's probably the Sudafed.
You're off your tits.
Rightio. Grant Atkins, he's the ref, as you mentioned. We've got a 54% winning strike rate with him, and the Dogs have a 48% winning strike rate. So we've probably got a slight edge there, considering it's at home. Forecast is for scattered showers with 18 degrees and 83% humidity in winter. God, and I'll tell you what, man, it's so cold here in Sydney right now. The air is very cold, and when you're sick, you feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm surprised by that weather forecast. I don't actually think that's too accurate. But, look, it's Tuesday.
Go with it.
and we're in Sydney, and it's a couple of hours north. So, if it is, look, I don't think the humidity will be too much of an issue. It's not going to be – it is a night game. It might be a little bit dewy. So
bring on the rain. Newcastle love the rain.
Yeah. Look, we do have a good record in the rain. We can't keep saying that though, because that'll probably end up biting us on the butt one day if we keep reinforcing it and we get too complacent. But yeah, overall, we have a good record playing to the conditions this year. So. There's nothing here popping out to me that really gives the Dogs a chance to get us this week. I don't know. Look, this is the final analysis. The Knights, it's 82% each full strength rating, so we're pretty even. We know both teams have some key players out and probably evens out at the end of the day. I've mentioned it here. We owed the Dogs a beating after the loss earlier in the year. It was our worst performance of the year, and that surely is going to motivate the team. The Knights are going to be fresh off the bye. That's even more incentive to, put you forward, load your energy. And guess what? You got 10 days off after this. So you're not going to be leaving anything in the tank. You're going to another good rest, coming off a rest, going into another good rest. Couldn't be better. And then the Bulldogs have also hit good form. They played pretty well last week, and they're an improving team, and they are a bit injured with Kikau, and they're impacted by Origin. There's a couple of players, Crichton and Burton. So pardon me, I think that's enough to disrupt them. And taking that all in, if we lose this game, I'll be spewing.
Yeah, we should win this.
We should win this.
On paper, yeah.
100%. Rightio. Let's just have a quick glance over our season betting tally. I'm not going to spend too much time on this tonight. We are running at 25% profit on turnover. I mentioned earlier in the pod that I had 2 live bets. Basically, they cancelled each other out. So nothing really has changed here. James is at 13% as the rookie of the year. It's his first year. My first year live, but definitely not my first rookie season betting. So, look, for me, 25% return on investments is great. That's actually what my aim was at the start of the year to be at the end of the year. We're almost halfway through the season, and I'm just looking to build on that now, and I'm not going to make any stupid decisions. I'm going to stick to the process, and that's what this whole thing is about, is sticking methodically to this process that it does take a fair bit of time and energy. But that 25% return on investment in 11 weeks, I'll take that any day of the week. Even your 13%, James, is great. And that the Knights, if you were just backing head-to-head odds with the bookies, we recommend TopSport if you use the Aussie bookie. Basically, we're there at a 5% profit on turnover or return on investment. So the Knights as a team this year are actually not a bad team to bet on. For the bookies, they'll be losing a bit on the Knights. So, yeah. Overall, the Knights are doing well. James, you're doing better than the Knights, and I'm doing better than all of us. So we're doing good, and we're gonna stay focused and keep improving, and hopefully, build something special by the end of the year. If I could lock in 25% right now, I'd take it. So, but who knows? I might be able to do better. But I won't be making any rash decisions or pushing to make money, because that's when you lose. Right, let's get into this week's odds. How long have we been going? Hour. We've gone over an hour. I'm surprised, and I do apologize for my coughing and it's I have been really sick, so even to turn up tonight and show up is a win for me. Okay, so the odds for this week, brought to you by TopSport, is the Knights to win head-to-head are $1.57. The Bulldogs to win are at $2.40. The Knights at the line, which is minus 4.5, is $1.95. Knights 1-12 is equal to $3.10. Couldn't stop without the cough. And then Knights 13 plus. The cough, let's say it's a good luck cough this week, eh? Not that we need luck on the Knighted podcast, but we'll take it. Knights 13 plus is $3. What do you got, James?
Yeah. Initially, I was thinking about the Knights to win, but I've decided to go to the 1 to 12 at $3.10.
Okay.
I'm picking the Knights for a victory. I think there's a chance they might smash them, but I'm going to settle with the 1 to 12. I think it'll be, if conditions are a bit ordinary, I reckon it'll be a tight game, but I think the Knights will win.
Well, I don't think the conditions are going to be too ordinary, but night games are traditionally a bit harder to throw the ball around on the edges, right? But that's not really our style of play, and we got 28 points against the Titans, not going like around them. So
straight through the middle, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd think that, we might be able to sort of play similar. We did put 30 on the Dragons at home in a night game. 30-10, we beat them. And I think that was the game. And I said, do you want to back the Knights here, 1 to 12 or 13 plus? Anyway, we had a bit of a chat about it. And I think you regretted the way you went at the end. But I'm just challenging your thinking here a little bit now. So we'll just do a little bit of deep diving before you make your final decision. So
I think the Doggies are probably more of a better defensive team in the middle than, say, the Titans. I think the Titans are normally a bit loose.
Okay, so let's have a look at some stats then. So we're doing some live analysis tonight, guys and girls. Let's have a look here at the ladder. So we've got Bulldogs. Okay, so we've both played 11 matches. Bulldogs against is 191. Knights against is 209. So they do have an edge in defense.
Yeah, they've improved a lot.
Now that's not considering Kickout out on the edge, Burton out in 5'8".
Yeah,
and then KPP, crashing through at Hutchinson. I'm telling you, that's going to happen. I can feel it.
Mate, you're trying to get me to change, and
I'm not trying to get you to change, but what I'm doing here is just we're just thinking out loud. We're challenge. You got to challenge. You got to challenge your thinking. make the best decisions, and that's what this is all about. So in terms of attack, the Bulldogs are at 238 plus, and we're at 200.
Quite even, isn't it? The stats for us and them.
Well, the Bulldogs have the edge in terms of for and
Attack.
against. They've got a positive of 47, and we've got a negative of -9. That doesn't take into account we haven't played the same teams, obviously. So you know, you can't read into it 100%, but it does I think verify what you were saying, is that the Bulldogs definitely defensively are a lot better this year, but I think with the outs for them this week, I think that will impact potentially their defense, and that I think our side is getting more confident, and the upside on attack, especially after a bye, I think they probably would have been doing a lot of reps on their attack and trying to add a bit of polish on what they're doing. So I'm not saying the Knights are going to win this 13 plus, but I'm saying we should win. And if we win, we beat the Dragons at home by 13 plus. I'd be leaning towards 13 plus. That's my gut feel. But you're saying 1 to 12? You're going to lock it in?
Yeah, I'm going to lock in 1 to 12. I hope it's 13 plus for the sake of the Knights and not my
or you can,
betting
before you
credentials.
finally lock it in, you could just go for the $1.57, and that's more of a safer play, just at least.
Initially, I was going to do that. I was thinking about it.
Because the one thing you have done this year is if you look at your strike rate, we'll go back to it. Your average winning odds is 255, and your strike rate on bets is 4 wins and 6 losses. So what that's telling me is that you've done a lot of bets this year in those margin areas. So your average winning odds at the moment is quite high, 255, and that's the reason you're making a profit, because you've actually backed more losses than wins. But because your odds are up and you've stuck to those bets, now maybe sticking to that methodology will continue to get you that profit. Or it could bite you on the butt if they don't land as well. But look, so far you've had a pretty good run with it, and you have landed some good ones in those margins. So anyway, final decision. Drum roll.
All right, Mr. Conservative has taken over now. I'm going to have to. I've sort of had a change of heart. I'll go Knights for the win. $1.57.
Okay.
I think that's a lock.
I think it's a lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. It's it doesn't hurt to run over your decisions and to be challenged when you think you've made a decision. Especially after we've been through this whole process, we're getting everything just to go back over it. And it's been good actually tonight. I've enjoyed doing the live deep dive. Because at the end of the day, life is all about making good decisions. If you make good decisions and do if you're going in the right direction in life and you keep making good calls, and if you work against your setbacks and keep improving, you're going to be a winner in life. And it's no different with betting. So it's character building process, and it's a skill that if you get this right, and it really shows that you can control your mind and produce good outcomes. So anyway, it's a learning process and journey. So I don't mind that. It's a bit more of I've been going a bit more of a safer. I haven't been going for the margin, like the 1 to 12, 13 pluses as much. So when it comes to my decision for the week, what's going to happen is I'm going to make a decision closer to the match. Not going to make it tonight, which you can also do in the future, James, if you want to, because I'll put all this up on X. At the end of the day, you're confident to make that bet now. What I like to do is I've got a process now where I slip on Fox. I quite like their pre-match commentary because I get to hear from both of the coaches. I get to hear comments about the warm-up and what they think of the warm-up and the attitude is. I get to see the weather conditions, and then I get to make a final decision. So I will basically post before the match. It'll be like, say, minimum 10 minutes before kickoff. I'm not sure which way I'm going to go at this stage. I always think it's better to bet, even if your odds are a bit less. Like, let's say I bet today and the Knights are $1.57, and I get on now, or I get on Sunday and the odds are $1.40, right? So, but if those odds have come in, it's because there's more certainty that Knights are going to win. Now, it doesn't hurt to sacrifice a little bit of potential profit there, because you don't know if it could have went the other way around. Like, maybe one of the Knights players got injured and then the odds went out and then the bet would have lost. So at the end of the day, the goal is to win your bets. It's not, I think chasing, obviously you've got to get good odds and you've got to have a system that consistently produces a profit and based on your winning strike rate and your average odds. But I think that's one thing I've been able to nail this year, and I'm refining this now to I'm only really going to make calls right before the matches, unless I've got a really good feeling and I want to just get on the Tuesday night. But that's my thinking process at the moment. So tune into X. Keep up to date because I will announce a bet this week. It's definitely going to be, I can't say definitely. We don't know if there's any injuries or what happens leading up, but I'm leaning towards placing a bet on the Knights. I'm leaning at this stage. I may have a go at a margin bet, but we'll see. I don't mind taking an alternate handicap as well. So at the line at the moment, mine is 4.5 is a little bit too high for me, but I don't mind mine is 3.5. So I'd probably sacrifice a little bit of the odds to not actually give away so many points, just in case it's a close game. But yeah, I'd be more leaning towards taking the Knights at this stage. If I had to make a call, it'd be at -3.5, which would be around about $1.80 at the moment with the bookies. So anyway, that's where I stand, and looking to maintain James's 13% and build on his 13% this week with the Knights win. And I'd say at this stage that's looking pretty good, and I'm looking to build on a 25% return on investment. So every bet every week is critical. Stay tuned, and we'll tune in on Friday night before the match on X. Rightio. Let's get this off. I think I'm going to make it through the show live. Surprisingly.
You've done well.
Oh, God. I was feeling a lot better before the show, but I've been at home all day and I haven't been speaking too much, and then I just didn't think that my voice would give in so badly, and I'd get this kind of like bronchitis-y kind of cough. It's like been itching at the back of my throat a bloody Reed Marnie. I've got the Reed Marnie in the throat. The pest. Oh God,
you've done fantastic.
If I had some prayers for the game this week, it's that Marnie gets absolutely hammered, and I wouldn't mind if it was foul play, just off the record. But
Bring back the biff.
Bring back the biff. Fire up.
Smash Reed Marnie.
On Marathon Stadium, there's a bit of even just a nice face rub in the hallowed turf,
Yeah, that's fine. Got to do that.
Yes, it's just a bit of, pull his, like, wedgie him or something, like just pest the pest. God, I really hope they got a target on that guy's head this week. So that's one prayer to God. Have you got one? What's yours? What's yours for this match?
I hadn't really had one, but you know what? I'm going to jump on the Reed Marnie bashing train.
Yeah,
and,
he's liking it.
Let's get the kettle to fire up and be a bit of a pest back to him.
Yeah, the kettle. Okay, well so who's it going to be? What player? What player is going to get on Marnie?
Well, I don't know. I think he seems more like he's got a bit of niggle in him. I'm trying to think
You
who
reckon
else has
the
niggle.
kettle?
I don't think the other guys aren't very niggly. Our team's full of apart from Hetherington, you know.
You reckon? What about Lucas? I reckon Lucas has a bit of a dark side to him. He's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, he might be capable, but I reckon Adam Elliott's definitely got it in him.
Frizzell? What about Frizzell?
No, he's Mr. Professional. Water off a duck's back, everything.
Just bring Hetherington into the side for God. They had you got to get him back in the side just for this game. This was that tunnel thing. Fuck.
Well, when the dogs actually come out of their shed, just have Hetherington standing there, and he has to walk past.
Maybe that's the tactic. Don't put him in the team and then smash him in the sheds.
Or have Hetherington running water onto the field, having him as the trainer, and he can just mouth off all day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
There's many options.
There is many ways to skin him. Well, the other thing too is if I was paying, I'd say KPP for a try, for a try. I want to see him get a try. He deserves one. Most importantly, the Knights come out of this. We win. We go halfway through the season, 7 wins, 5 losses, and based off that analysis we did before, like we're after this week in that position, and the season actually starts to get exciting, and who knows where it could head with the foundations we've built now without Ponga, with him coming back. If we can get through this next 3 weeks, who knows, maybe make it 3 in a row, go into a bye 7 from 7, Ponga back in a few weeks after that. That's what we've come to the conclusion it's a good possibility. It's definitely not impossible. And is it a possible or a probable? Like at school when you're trialing for rep teams, you possibles or probables. I'd say it's probably a possible.
Possible, yeah.
It's a possible. It's not a probable, but many possibles made a rep side. So don't give up. We're a good chance.
To me, it's all about their attitude. It's the guys have shown over the last 6 weeks or whatever that they're playing tough footy, that they can match it with tough teams, but defensively and the resolve and that. So I feel that if they're on mentally, they can beat these teams. They can beat the Penrith. They can beat Melbourne. It's just whether or not they've got the consistency to be there mentally each game, and I hope they have. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Friday night. It's been it's been a tough buy round actually. It was kind of a good thought to have a week off, but then getting sick and everything wasn't the greatest. So I'm really looking forward just to concentrating on a night's match and hopefully a victory this week. So thanks for tonight, James. If you guys have liked what we've brought up to you guys tonight in terms of our content, not my cough, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. You can also catch the Nighted podcast on Spotify and iTunes on Apple. We also have a social media page on Facebook, but we predominantly use X on game day. And it's my preferred method of communication with the Nighted podcast. Hopefully everyone likes the new merch. We've got hats and shirts. Hope you like it, James. Fire up, mate. It's quite good.
Love it. It's great.
Yeah, good thread and good show, mate. Thanks for persisting and up the Knights, hey. Let's hope we hear the winning song again for the 5th time in a row.
Absolutely, can't wait. And you've done a fantastic job tonight under very difficult conditions. So well done.
Going was tough, mate. It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard doing a podcast when you can't talk.
Oh, mate.
And I'm sorry to everyone who had to listen to my coughing. It would have been quite distracting. But anyway, thanks for hanging in there. And let's hope we hear this song this week. Take it easy, James. I'll I'll catch you on game day. We'll chat this week, huh?
No worries, mate. Talk to you then.
See you, mate.